Nash, aka DJ Hookie, is one of Australia's most successful DJs, in demand at clubs around the world for his edgy electronic dance music. But he's had to overcome enormous adversity to get there. At just 19, he lost both his arms and legs to meningococcal disease and has mastered his prosthetics to turn his life around and become a global star. Tom was one of the speakers at TEDx Sydney, and he joins us now in the studio. Tom, thank you for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
After facing thousands of people at TEDx Sydney, that must be the scariest thing you've ever done.
And, well, no, not as scary as having to speak after that intro. That was a hell of an intro, so I appreciate it.
Well, we'll put you to the test now. You were, if we can go back, you were into music before, long before you lost your limbs at 19. And so when you got your prosthetics, you had to retrain yourself to be able to continue to make music. How did you do that?
Yeah, so I used to be a guitarist before I lost my arms, and I figured out that I wanted to play the guitar again with hooks, which, you know, because that could be a bit of an impediment to playing guitar, right? Not having hands. So I designed a slide system that I could hold with my left hook, and then a pick holder that I could hold with my right hook. And then I worked out how to play it on my lap like a slide guitar. I guess, I mean, you know, I was never going to be Jimi Hendrix, but chances were I was never going to be Jimi Hendrix anyway. So it was more a case of being able to have that outlet and be able to write music, and, you know, those tools kind of facilitated that at the end of the day.
And I guess DJing is something you found you were able to do, and you got right into that in a big way. We've got some vision of you there in action as a DJ, quite the star.
Oh, yeah.
How did you...
I look a bit younger there, how about that?
It was only yesterday.
I think I look better now. What do you think?
I think you look a lot more in your element over there. But how did you get into the DJing?
I kind of fell into DJing because my best friend and I started a nightclub, and
as you do.
Yeah, it was a club night, and we kind of we found it was the best way to be able to exploit our, you know, need to make and play music, and so we made ourselves a DJ of this club night, but we didn't really know how to DJ at the beginning. My friend had more experience than I did, but I had absolutely no experience whatsoever. But, you know, it was one of those ultimatum type situations. It was a sink or swim. It was either going to happen or it wasn't, and so that helped.
And here you are. Now, you say you don't see yourself as a motivational speaker, yet there you are at TEDx in front of a few thousand people. Do you think you've got something to teach others?
Well, yeah, I wouldn't say that I motivate people per se or teach them in any way, but I would like to think that I have the potential to make them think about themselves more. And I think those are two very different things. So, you know, in my life and what's happened to me, I've been forced to kind of inspect my life from a different perspective. And sometimes when I tell those stories, they tend to resonate with people. And I don't think that's the same as motivation. I mean, I don't get up before 9 a.m. So.
You say that people have two extreme reactions when they see you. They either stare or they look away. Or they ask questions about you, and sometimes they're pretty dumb questions. Which reaction do you prefer?
Right. Well, it depends what time of the day it is, I guess, and whether I've had a drink or not. But I would say that I prefer them to ask questions rather than to not ask questions. Some of the questions are boring, but it's also kind of my social responsibility to just put up with that and answer the questions, because, yeah, it's important for people to think that they can ask questions and for it to be open discourse to some extent.
What are the boring questions, just so we know?
Oh no, I can't say that because then no one will ask.
No, that's it. You'll stop the boring questions.
Yeah, that's true. I think mainly, you know, what happened to you? Yeah, good. They're not boring questions. You know what? They're boring answers. You know, like, what happened to you? How do your hooks work? I mean, I think...
You'd rather get deeper
maybe
than that.
Well, I don't know. You're asking better questions than most people ask on the street.
My job.
So it's, yeah, exactly. Yeah, there you go.
Can people offend you? Do you think we're all a bit too careful about offending others at the moment?
You're more than welcome to try. I don't remember the last time I was offended. I don't tend to get offended easily, I don't think. I mean, boring people offend me. But being boring is kind of more of an offence in and of itself rather than it offends me per se. So no, I don't think so. I think people do worry too much about offending people. Generally speaking, I think that it bridges a bit of a line. The more you fear not asking questions or being inquisitive for fear of offending someone, the less you're going to end up knowing and understanding about anything. So I guess people have to weigh up how important they think each one is to them.
You mentioned before that you see that you have some sort of social responsibility. That's a huge burden to put on yourself. Do you think that you have a role to help bust myths about people with a disability?
Oh, but not necessarily. I mean, I don't think it's a huge responsibility at all. I'm just answering some questions. I'm not, figuring out climate change.
But it's a big role to put on your own back that you have to be out there helping people understand what life's like for someone with a disability.
Well, sure. I don't know if it's a big responsibility. It doesn't feel onerous in any way. Yeah.
But do you see yourself as having that role? Is that something you want to do to help people break down those myths?
Not particularly. I just don't. I mean, certainly not as a raison d'etre, I would say. But I'm more than happy to speak with anybody who has questions about my physical disability. I think it's just part of being a good person to answer questions like that.
Well, it's not even answering questions. You just being you and doing what you do, you're already showing people that what's possible.
Yeah, that's true, I guess. And also, I mean, it's interesting that you touched on that whole what did you say? Something about there being debunking myths about
having
disabled
a disability.
people. I mean, look, you can't obviously speak for everyone, but I think one of the things that I do constantly get is people will think that if you have a disability that your life is horrible and that you're constantly thinking about your disability. And the truth is I rarely think about it. Unless it's brought up in conversation, like now.
Like right now.
Like right now, that's right, yeah. But, I rarely ever think about it. And if I do, I don't think about it in a negative light by any stretch of the imagination. So.
And tell us what you enjoy about being DJ Hooky, about I'm told the term is mixing discs. I'm sure there are even cooler ways to say it.
Yeah.
What is it
I wouldn't know those cool ways to say it because I'm not cool
You're
anymore.
making me feel better.
Yeah.
What is it about DJing that you like, about being able to connect with people?
Initially, I guess it was a very good way of impressing women. But no.
Does that work?
It does, yeah. In all honesty, though, it's the thing I do like about DJing is there's a sense of solitude about it, and there's also a sense of autonomy. So as a performer, you're just in this element where no one can really touch you, and you're just doing what you do. I think I like that about DJing the most. Yeah.
All right, well, it's been a joy to meet you, and thank you
Thanks.
for sharing your insights, and hope it wasn't as scary for you as tennis.
No, I appreciate the invitation. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Tom.